David from IT.
Good morning, David. Good morning, Dan. How are you both?
Good. How you doing, Andrea?
Good morning.
Doing well, thank you. We're just waiting for
I'm
everyone.
doing well. Good to hear.
We're just waiting on everyone here on our end, as well as anybody else. I don't know if any council members are on the line yet.
Good morning. This is Dale.
Hi, Dale. How are you today?
I just got on the line.
Okay,
I was
great.
attending the Community Development Committee.
Oh, okay. Thank you. On our end, we're still waiting for the fiscal officer and Nicole. Nicole, are you on the line via conference call? So I guess she'll be joining us shortly as well. And we're still waiting also for Nan as well as for Trevor. Hi, Lee. How are you? Good. How are you? Doing well, thank you. Mike around today?
Good morning, Janelle Green here, Department of IT.
Hi, Janelle. How are you?
Pretty good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Oh, here's Mike.
Sorry, guys.
No, we're still waiting for Nan and Trevor.
Hey, Andrea, it's Trevor.
Hi, Trevor. How are you doing this morning?
Good. How are you today?
I'm good. So we're waiting for Nan and Nicole. Are you on the conference call or will you be joining us in person? So we're still waiting for Nicole as well.
Andrea, this is Matt Reimer, Public Works. I think she's on her way down.
Oh, okay. Hi, how are you, Matt?
Good, thank you.
Okay. So we're waiting for, again, Nan.
Okay.
Good morning, Nan Baker calling in.
Hi, Nan. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good, thank you.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Today's Monday, October 5th, 2020. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Good morning, everyone. Calling the roll for the Monday, October 5th Board of Control meeting. It is now 11 a.m. Nan Baker. Here. Dale Miller.
Here.
Trevor McAleer serving as an alternate for Dan Brady.
Here.
Nicole English serving as an alternate for Mike Dever. Here. Mike Chambers serving as an alternate for Armin Budish.
Here.
Lee Tucker serving as an alternate for the fiscal officer.
Here.
And Shankita Walker serving as an alternate for Lenora Lockett. Here. We have a quorum.
Okay, next item is review the minutes. I'm going to make a motion to to approve the minutes of September 28th. Do I have a second?
I'll second. This is Dale.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, minutes are approved. Next item is public comment. Do we have any public comment out? Please speak now. Once, twice, okay, no public comment. Moving on to contracts and awards.
The first new item is BC 2020-553, Department of Public Works, recommending an award on a purchase order and enter into a contract with Safety Controls Technology, Inc. in the amount not to exceed $5,000 for comprehensive safety and health consulting services, and is for the period October 5th, 2020 through October 4th, 2021.
Hi, good morning. This is Matt Reimer with the Department of Public Works. This item is to Safety Controls Technology for personal protective equipment fit testing and medical evaluations that go along with that fit testing. This item was for a base quote, informal quote of 17 personnel at a cost of $1,160, and we're asking for a not to exceed of $5,000 so that we can have future county employees get this fit testing for respirator equipment for the course of their performance of duty.
Okay, thank you, Matthew. Are there any questions from the board on this item?
Yes, this is Dale, and my question is how many possible vendors were informally solicited, and what kind of results did you get?
Hi, Mr. Miller. This is Councilman Miller, Matt Reimer again. So to that question, at the recommendation of the Health and Safety Manager, this was the vendor that was selected for an informal quote. Again, under $5,000 was the basis. But we did also seek an informal quote from an environmental contract recipient of ours, and they came in more expensive of the base quantity quote of $1,520 versus the $1,160 that this vendor quoted. So one other.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions from the board on this item? Okay, hearing none then, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Ms. Nicole English, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Item number BC 2020-554, Department of Public Works, recommending an award on a purchase order and enter into a contract with MRI Software, LLC, in the amount not to exceed $22,000 for the purchase of Lease real estate lease management software, maintenance and training services, and it's for the period October 5th, 2020 through October 4th, 2023.
Nicole English with Public Works. This is a purchase for software that's going to assist our real estate department. It essentially is going to house all of our leases, both where the county leases from an owner and where we lease property to other people. And this will serve as a tracking device, and also it's searchable, it's accessible by even an iPhone or a tablet, so that everybody that needs the access to figure out, where we stand on certain leases will have it available. This hopefully will lead us to being more proactive in renewing leases and reducing the time that it takes us to get the new leases in place.
Thank you, Ms. English. Are there any questions from the board? And excuse me, Shanquita?
Shankita, Office of Procurement Diversity, just know that they are not registered with the IG, as I've checked as MRI Software LLC. There's a reference of Link Systems, DBA Lease. So I checked as Link Systems and as Lease. They are not on the IG.
So they're doing less than, what's the limit on the annual spend, right? 10,000?
But this contract is, we're going into contract for 22,000.
It's only 7,000 per year.
Okay.
The Inspector General website is based on that much per year.
Per year, but the total, if we're going to contract for 22,000 and there's an option to renew, it's going to be over.
Year. So I thought that's the IG's guidance. I mean, this went through reviews. I don't know.
Okay.
I'll double check, but that was the idea.
We'll make a contingent on this being acceptable. And someone, please mute your phone. We're hearing some static as well. Are there any other questions from our board members on this item?
Yes, this is Dale. And I'll defer to Nan, and then I'll go.
Oh, thanks, Dale. It may be the same question. I'm just a little surprised that, for all the buildings that we manage, on the backup, it says over 50 building leases. We haven't had this on computer before this. It seems, how are we keeping track of when they come up for renewal and, all the things that are involved when we lease space? So, I don't know, can you expand upon the method we were using before and how it's going to change now?
So prior to this, essentially, there was an Excel file that had been kept based on all of our leases. So it wasn't, and it would just be listing, who the lease is with and the dates and the amount. This is going to be a software that you actually can put reminders on so many months in advance. It's a much more sophisticated way of tracking the leases. So you are right. It is surprising we haven't had this. We've been working on this purchase for over a year. So it was something that our real estate consultant has brought up that many of their clients use and use it really successfully, and it helps with the tracking. So they had brought it to our attention. We looked out at different products and, decided to go with this one. So yes, I mean, it's been challenging. That's why you see sometimes, there is late leases that things just had slipped through the cracks in the past, which that's what we're trying to avoid going forward. And then the fact that this will be accessible, that people will be able to just log in and check out anything they want or pull up a lease, that we'll be able to provide that access to many other folks, you know, that need it in our department.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it is surprising. The 22,000 for a 3-year period, so it will cost us about 7,000 to 8,000 a year.
Correct.
In order to continue with this.
Correct.
And what are we get the software? What are we actually paying for?
It's
for that 7 or 8?
web-based. It's web-based, so it's not like we're getting the software. So it's the subscription to keep using the software, which is an annual payment.
So it's a subscription.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dale.
Okay, and, I could not hear some of the earlier conversation over the chatter on the line, so I apologize if my question is repetitive. But my question is how many possible vendors were solicited on this contract, and how did you choose among them?
So this is the one that was recommended by our real estate consultant, but we did put out an informal bid to see if there was anyone out there, and we did not get any responses. So we, you know, have been told by our consultants that this is really the premier software that most people use, and also this company is out of Solon, so it helps that they're, you know, local as well.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Any final questions from the board?
Mr. Chair, it's Trevor. Just one quick follow-up question for Nicole.
Sure.
Nicole, if we stop using this vendor for whatever reason, do we own the data? Are we able to pull the data out of it for our own information and potentially shift it to a different software program, or are we insured the data at the end of the contract?
Our understanding is we could pull it out as like an access database. However, you know, it won't function like it does in the software with reminders, and there's viewing capabilities where you can search leases based on certain words that you'd find. Obviously, we wouldn't have that with the data that comes back, but we would have an access database that would at least list key pieces of the leases.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, hearing no further questions, I'm going to make a motion to approve this item contingent on the IG registration discussion. Do I have a second?
I will second that motion.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, item approved. Next item.
Next item, item BC 2020-555, Department of Human Resources, recommending an award on a purchase order and enter into an agreement with the Metro Health System in the amount not to exceed $45,000 for flu shot clinic services for county employees, and it's for the period October 5th, 2020 through October 4th, 2021.
Good morning, Pat Smock on behalf of the Department of Human Resources. This is our annual agreement with Metro Health to visit county locations and provide flu shots to county employees. This is a not to exceed amount, the $45,000 that we're asking for. The actual billing will be based on the number of flu shots provided. Obviously, this is an unusual year, and so we're not certain exactly the number of shots that will be provided, but we built in dollars to cover all contingencies. The scheduled locations, the dates, and the times of the flu shot clinics has yet to be announced, although the HR staff's working on that in the back of the house. But that will be announced to employees shortly, presuming that this item passes this morning, and we appreciate your consideration.
Thank you, Pat. Are there any questions from the board on this item?
Just one question, Nan Baker. The flu shot looks like it takes us through October of 2021. Aren't most of the flu shots between now and maybe February or March of next year? Why do we extend it all the way to October of next year?
Thank you for your question, Councilwoman. It's really administrative. We decided to do that this year. We'll actually be delivering the flu shots this year, this fall. We don't see any going in next year, but we wanted to extend the contract through next year in case as a contingency, if we do have leftover remaining shots and employees do have an interest in that. And then B, also that we'd have an open purchase order with Metro Health System for next year to do flu shots, and be able to turn it around a little bit quicker if that makes sense, because we'd have a continuing purchase order with them. We could add funds to next year if needed.
I see. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any final questions on this item? Hearing none, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second, this is Dale.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, item approved. Next item.
Item number BC 2020-556, Department of Public Safety and Justice Services, recommending an award on a purchase order and enter into a contract with Digital Stakeout, Inc. in the amount not to exceed $15,600 for a web-based social media aggregation and threat detection tool, and 6 user licenses for use by the Northeast Ohio Regional Fusion Center. It's for the period October 5th, 2020 through October 4th, 2021.
Good morning, Mary Beth Vaughn from Public Safety. And on the phone also is Mike Herb, who is the director of the Fusion Center, in case there's any technical questions. This platform will allow analysts to build threat and topic-specific campaigns to gather information into a centralized dashboard. We did issue an informal request for quotes. We received 4 quotes and are making a recommendation to award to the lowest cost vendor. This is a grant-funded purchase that has been approved by Ohio EMA.
Thank you, Mary Beth. Are there questions from the board members? Hearing none, I will make a motion to approve.
Hey, if I may ask just one quick question, I'm trying to read this as I go here on the backup. 15,600 doesn't sound like very much for what it is that we probably already do. This isn't to enhance it, I would guess. Can you elaborate a little bit more on what this will actually be doing in what we're probably already able to collect and process and analyze some intelligent threats?
Mike, could you please answer that question?
Sure. Mike Herb here from the Fusion Center. You are correct in that we are doing some of this, but as of right now, we do not have a tool that allows us to do this on a higher, more robust level. So a lot of how we find threat or how we do threat detection is through manual labor of our analysts. And we don't really have that collection tool that can rapidly run through multiple social media platforms and then collate and bring that in. So basically, it takes off that initial part and then allows our analysts to do the work from the data that's collected.
Okay, so for example, the protesting that many people came, many more than we thought would, and then a couple of hundred that was originally thought turned into, I don't know how many, 1,000 people. Would this software have helped us detect earlier that this could have been a greater threat than what we thought it would be?
I mean, I could never say, that if it could have helped us detect it earlier. What it really does allow us to do, though, is find, obviously, we've had multiple protests since the event on May 30th, and this helps us comb through what really is a large pool of social media to try to find out about other events before they happen. That obviously was a single event happening, and there weren't other protests or legal demonstrations designated for the same time, the same day, things like that we're currently running into as we come into election season.
Okay. There were, though, other cities that were experiencing problems. I just wondered if this would have been a software that perhaps would have been a better detector to give us some warning that this perhaps problem was coming to Cleveland. But you don't think that this software would have given us any more information than what we already had?
I would think and hope that, yes, it could have, but I couldn't speak to that for sure. And I wouldn't want to be held to saying that this would have prevented or allowed us to, you know, basically predict, without more information, knowing what we could have gotten from this platform at the time.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Okay, based on that, any final questions on this item? All right, hearing none, then I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Lee Tucker. Lee got you there, Trevor. Seconded by Lee Tucker. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Item approved. Moving on.
We're moving on to the consent agenda, item numbers BC 2020-557 through 559.
Please take a moment or two and speak out if you have any questions. I'll wait for a minute. Okay, board members, are there any questions on today's consent agenda? Or if you need more time, please let me know. Okay, hearing none, then I will make a motion to approve today's consent agenda items. Do I have a second?
Second, this is Dale.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Today's consent agenda is approved. Moving on.
Moving on to other business, please turn your pages to page 6. We have 2 time-sensitive mission-critical items. The first item is item BC 2020-560, Department of Public Safety and Justice Services, recommending an award on a purchase order to Artemax, Inc., doing business as Wristband Resources, in the amount not to exceed $7,272 for the purchase of 371,000 wristbands for the daily COVID-19 screenings in various county buildings.
Good morning, Mary Beth Vaughn from Public Safety again. We placed an order for wristbands with MedTech wristbands on August 31st. These wristbands should have been delivered by September 10th, September 11th at the latest if we were to grant time for the holiday. They were not received, and we continue to reach out to the vendor. On the 14th of September, which is a Monday, they reported that they had shipped out the wristbands that afternoon. So we continued to track the order with the vendor and with FedEx. On Thursday, the 17th, I was notified by Public Works that the next day's wristband color was silver and that they had no additional silver wristbands left in stock. So if a building ran out, we would not have any to give them. At the same time, FedEx had reported that they had delivered the wristbands, but we had not received them. So after conferring internally, I reached out to the second vendor from the original solicitation and asked if they could deliver the next day. They said they could, and I placed the order with this vendor.
Okay, thank you, Mary Beth. Since this is on today's agenda, there's no reason to continue. So are there any questions from the board on this particular item?
Yes, this is Dale. And my question is whether we paid any money to the original vendor, and if so, will we be able to get our money back because we didn't get any delivery from them?
Well, actually, what ended up happening, we found out later, was that they had incorrectly delivered it to another company in Cuyahoga County. So ultimately, we did get the wristbands, but we got them extremely late. So what's going to happen? So we haven't paid the vendor yet. But we do have the wristbands and we do intend to pay for them. What will happen is that normally we place an order, say every 6 weeks. We will not have to place the next order coming up because we now have twice as many wristbands in stock than what we expected to have.
Okay.
Any additional questions on this item?
This is Dan Baker. I'm just, if you can clarify a little bit the purpose of these wristbands. I see the primary goal is to identify individuals accessing county facilities who have completed the daily COVID-19 screening. So can you just tell me how exactly does that work?
So what happens was when we come into a county building, we are given a temperature check and we have to answer a series of questions. And once we demonstrate that we don't have COVID, we are given a wristband that is specific to that day's color. And we have to wear it all day, but what it allows us to do is say that if I start my day at the Emergency Operations Center and have to go over to headquarters, I will not have to go through the COVID screening again because I'll be able to display my wristband showing that day's color.
I see. Do we have many employees that come into one building and travel to another within the same day?
I don't have the answer to that, but I know that, and I'm just speaking from being at the Juvenile Justice Center where the Emergency Operations Center is, we are expected to display our wristbands the entire time we are in the building. If somehow you have lost your wristband, you have to go back through the screening again. So I think it's not just a matter of traveling between buildings, but also just making sure that while you're here, you can demonstrate that you have gone through the COVID testing.
And this
that
is
applies to us as employees as well as the public.
Nicole English from Public Works too. You know, we also have mobile crews, like our sanitary crews that are going through the screening when they check in the morning. So that's another assurance as they're out in the field that they've been through the screening. And then also our custodians who travel throughout buildings. I think it's giving people a peace of mind that they know they've been screened because they might start in one location and then end up in another. The other piece is we're running that drive-through at Huntington Park Garage for screening. So the wristband ensures people who go through the drive-through when they appear at their work location that they have been screened.
All right, and these bands isn't anything that has technology attached to it. It's just a color-coded band?
Correct.
Like you would get if you went to maybe a festival or something. Just a waterproof disposable band.
What was that?
It's like you'd go to a festival, you know, like a waterproof just wristband that's disposable every day. Got it.
And did I hear that there's twice as many because the original vendor finally came through? So what is the maybe coming back for more dollars?
I'm sorry, Councilwoman, I didn't hear the question.
Will you be coming back for more funding to take care of the second round of unexpected bans?
Let me try and get that, Mary Beth. The initial one was already approved via the emergency purchase form, is that correct?
That is correct.
Yes, and what happened was since it didn't show up, she used her time-sensitive mission critical to satisfy that need. So nothing needs to be done outside of approving this item today.
Okay, so we've actually paid about $14,000 for wristbands?
We've paid more than that throughout the year, but I don't have the total. Do you have the total, Mary Beth?
I can look it up real quick.
No, I didn't realize that we already paid for the first round, and this is now the second round of wristbands.
Well, we didn't pay for it. We had approval to pay for it, to order. So what happened was because we needed them critically, the department went ahead according to time-sensitive procedure and ordered it. And now we're bringing it before you now for approval because we didn't go through the normal process.
I see. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Sure, absolutely. So if there's no final questions, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve BC 2020-560. Do I have a second?
I'll second, Ann Baker.
Mr. Dale.
Okay, seconded by Councilwoman Baker. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Thank you.
Next time, sensitive mission critical item, BC 2020-561, Office of the Medical Examiner, recommending an award on a purchase order to Promega Corporation in the amount not to exceed $6,348.80 for repair and maintenance on 5 Maxwell 16 DNA extraction instruments for use by the DNA lab.
Q. Shannon from the Medical Examiner's Office. The extraction machines are the ones that extract the genetic material from our samples so that they can be replicated and analyzed. We are getting them, getting their annual maintenance. We have to have a documented maintenance on this equipment every year for our accreditation. Obviously, we were not able to do it earlier in the year with COVID, and so we are kind of scrambling a little bit to get it done now that the building's open. We are past our, we're getting close to passing our window, and we've had obviously to work around the furloughs as well. So, but this is all paid for through the lab fund, the crime lab.
Thank you, Hugh. Are there any questions from the board members on this item? Okay, hearing none, then I'll make a motion to approve BC 2020-561. Do I have a second?
Second, this is Dale.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, item approved.
Thanks.
Moving on to public comment. Go ahead.
Do we have any public comment at this time? Hearing none, I would like to make one announcement. The county offices will be closed on Monday, October 12th, in observance of Columbus Day. Our next scheduled meeting of the Board of Control will take place on Tuesday, October 13th at 11 a.m.
Thank you, Andrea. Okay, hearing no further items, and that's it. I'm going to make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.